Alrighty. Welcome to Puro Pinche Sports. I am Marco, your temporary host for today. And this is my colleague, my friend, my Argentinian fan, Jeff. How you doing, brother?
Good, good. How about you? You having a good day?
Yeah, bro, doing good. So we're doing a little extra pod today. We're gonna talk some soccer, some football for those that speak Spanish, and for those that don't and are fake Argentinian fans. We have them here today. uh, nah, man, we're gonna talk about the Copa America final that was between Argentina and Colombia. Ended in a draw going into extra time, where Argentina capitalized with a goal from Lautaro Martinez to put them up 2-1 to win the Copa America for a consecutive time. So good win for y'all, bro. What's your thoughts on it?
It was good. It was a good game. Colombia was on that unbeaten streak. I think it was like 26, 28 games, something like that. And they were playing strong. They were winning their games. They I knew it was going to be a tough match. And Argentina, right? Messi, he looking a step slow. He ended up, getting hurt and not being able to finish off the game. I think he got hurt in the 50th, 60th minute. But it was a good game. Like
Right.
it was high intensity. There was some crazy, there was a lot of missed chances. Right off the bat, Argentina missed a chance in like the first minute, and then Colombia dominated that first half. Like man, Argentina didn't have too many opportunities in that first half, and Colombia missed some really good opportunities in that first half. So I think they could have been up that first half, but it went 0-0 into the halftime, and then it went 0-0 into full time and then like we said, Messi went off, and I think it might have helped Argentina, might have hurt, I don't know, but for sure, that the Argentina team plays as a team, and I think when Messi went off, of course, the players were already playing hard. They wanted to play even harder to win for Messi, since they have that team atmosphere, and it was nice. There was some like before Martinez scored, it looked like Colombia was like they were on the attack. That overtime was exciting, and then everybody was exhausted, right? It was just man, did you see the sweat? Like their whole clothes look wet, the shorts, the shirts, and then they did some late substitutions, right? Even Martinez didn't come until extra time. I think into the 100th minute. But the coach for
Solari.
Colombia was
Oh,
was
for our Colombia.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They were he's a old Argentina coach too, so I think
Yeah.
it was a chess matchup, and they knew what they were doing. And yeah, it was just crazy that Martinez came up as a sub and got the goal. It was exciting. It was at one point I thought it was going to go to a penalty shootout. I definitely thought Colombia had the advantage, but in that second half, I think the tides turned. You saw the experience from Argentina kind of take over. Colombia's attack kind of got soft. I don't know if they got tired. That field was shitty. After the halftime with Shakira, I guess they put the sprinklers on to make sure there was no fires from the fireworks and the pyros. And then the field, you could just see it. It looked like one of those, like Aaron Rodgers guy. It just looked like a shitty ass field that they were playing on. Messi twisted his ankle all the way around. It looked like, but yeah, everybody was out of gas, and yeah, it was just an exciting game. I wouldn't have been, after winning the World Cup, if we would have lost, it would have been the end of the world or nothing. But it was definitely fun to win, and Di Maria to go out as a champ. That was nice.
Yes, and Fidel playing his last match for Argentina. According to him, he retires from international play for Argentina. What a career for Fidel Di Maria. He's an absolute legend in the sport. Played for Real Madrid. Now is playing for I think Benfica. And crazy, crazy career he's had. I mean, he's won everything for club and country. But extremely, extremely good player. But yeah, I think I agree with everything you said. I do think that Colombia did dominate that first half, and I even think the beginning of that second half, Colombia really dominated. It wasn't too about like the after the 70th minute that I think Argentina hit a second win, and those Colombian players were a little tired. That I think Argentina started uh, getting close to scoring, and there were some big misses there. There were some a lot of missed opportunities, not only from the Argentinian side but the Colombian side, like you said in that first half, uh, from a couple of their players. And I think once Argentina got into that extra time. I think experience in those situations plays a big role, and I think Colombia not being in those situations enough, especially in a tournament where you didn't go to extra time other games, you're getting put into an environment where you haven't been there before, like Colombia being in the first final in a very long time. Actually, the first final, I think, for the club. I could be wrong, but I think in a very long time. And then being put in a situation where we're going to extra time against an experienced Argentina squad that comes off winning the World Cup in 2022, I think played a big role. And you saw Lautaro Martinez redeem himself from a World Cup where he played poorly in to coming into being the lower leading scorer in the Copa America and scoring that crucial goal for them. Uh, Now, when it comes to Messi, his ankle is pretty messed up. I'm not gonna lie. His ankle is pretty messed up. He did get pretty hurt, so I'm not gonna criticize him there. Messi does look a step slower, obviously. So I mean, he's a little bit older in age now, uh, and I don't think he did much when he was in the game. Even when he was there in the first half, I don't think he was having a good game at all.
Mm-mm.
And I think that Argentina squad, I think you said it perfectly. I think once Messi got hurt, it almost revamped them. And I think after like the 70th minute, because he came off, I think like in the 64th, 65th minute, Argentina hit like another stride and they were going hard. So it was it was a great game. Great game. I do think there were some controversial non-penalty calls that I would say, and Leticia Ramirez, Messi had a football-sized ankle. Definitely had a football-sized ankle in the pictures and the videos, and especially him crying there because he could have, like, bro, you already won a World Cup. Why are you crying? Why are you crying? But I think he thinks like it might have been his last game. It could be because it was unsure that he was going to play in the World Cup in 2026.
Yeah, I'm hearing that they're pushing him to. The coach wants him to play. I'd rather him not play. I'd rather this team just go on and play on their own. They got a lot of young talent. But of course they want to push him because he sells tickets and all that. But man, like he to me, like I think he's done, right? I mean he still can pass, right? He can still set up players. He can still do assists. He had one goal against Canada and it was off of he deflected it right in. And he did have a nice shot this game. And then what's his name? Alvarez, right? I think he kind of blocked his shot.
Blocked that shot.
He tried to redirect it, ended up blocking it. It might have went in, who knows? But like he had one chance last night, Messi, to score. That was it. And so yeah, he's a little slow. He's still valuable on the field. He can still set up players. He still can manage a game. But why not have someone younger and that can speed, has that speed and can also do other stuff than just that, right? But like, of course, I would like to see him play, but man, that's still 2 years away. He's 36. He'll be 38. And I even heard Ronaldo saying that he wants to play in the world. And I just think it's time to go, right? Like, what else is there to prove? I'd rather him even just be on the sideline, right? So I really want him. Yeah, like I was wondering, like, Di Maria came out to say that it was his last game. I thought before I had heard Messi say that this was going to be it too. Copa, 2024 was going to be over. But then I think there's a lot of external pressures that wants him to keep playing. But yeah, man, we got that game. I can't say the word. How do you say it?
Finalissima.
Okay, yeah. So that's next year. So maybe he wants to play in that. That would be fun, right? Against Spain. Maybe he could stay till then. But still, man, that would give a lot of good experience to this team without Messi to figure out their identity without him and to get going for the World Cup, right? Because I think with the experience with Emmy, like they do really got a good shot to be competitive during the 2026 World Cup. So I would like to see him move on. Of course, it's up to him. I'm happy with whatever he does. And then, coming from a selfish standpoint, I want to go to these games during the World Cup. It's in the USA in 2026. And, man, if Messi's there, there's just no chance. The people just want to go just to see Messi, right? I want to see Messi. And, with him not there, I'm hoping maybe the popularity of the Argentina team goes down just a tad where the tickets won't be so expensive. But going to these tickets, man, these games, I looked into going to the Houston NRG, the Ecuador game, and I almost went the ticket. Like, if you go for the tickets the day of the game, they had come down, to like $250. But man, after all the fees, that you're paying an extra $100 ticket in fees.
Those fees, man,
it's just crazy. So like,
it's crazy.
Yeah. So when I was looking at it, it was $1,000 to go to the game, like for 2 tickets, and then the day of the game, and it's hard, right, living in San Antonio to take that drive. It was going to be like $650, and I just think it's outrageous, right? And we haven't even talked about it. the drama before the game. The game got postponed an hour and 45
Oh
minutes.
my gosh, dude.
I mean,
What?
that was the game of
I
the first
mean,
half. It
I
was
mean,
crazy.
if this isn't a wake up call to the way we are going to be able to host matches for the World Cup, this is a wake up call. It was a complete utter failure. I mean, people that paid thousands of dollars to go to the final, they didn't even get in
It's
because
insane.
people stormed. I mean, what a disaster of an
Yeah.
event. Like thousands of dollars that they're probably gonna have to pay back these people. So I mean, you're talking about just like bad handling of an event. I mean, and it's sending a lot of almost like a fear for 2026 is the US and North America in general going to be ready to handle the size of this World Cup, which is going to be a lot more teams, a lot more stadiums. There's a lot of things that are going to play into it. Are they going to be able to handle it?
Yeah. Games in Mexico and Canada. And then here, and then Miami's its own third world country over there. You would think it's America, but man, Miami. But I've heard both sides that the Hard Rock Stadium, they're used to throwing big events, but then you got the outside coming in, FIFA for the World Cup, and it's how much they want to invest for security and all that. But I feel sorry for the people, right? I mean, it looks scary, right? People taking their kids, their babies
Oh
to the
yeah,
games,
I mean, can you imagine?
and it was like they were getting trampled, right? So like, I guess it's good to know. Hopefully they have crazy security when it comes to the World Cup, but that wasn't a good look, especially right after Uruguay and Colombia, right? They had the star player for Uruguay had to go defend his family in the stands. You
Oh
would think
yeah,
after,
Darwin Núñez, yeah.
yeah, that was in North Carolina, right? So like, you would think after that they would have buckled down for this game. You got the Colombians, you got Argentinians in Miami. I mean, that's just
And that's what people
you got
don't
to be
and people don't really
ready.
and people don't really get that is that and there is a lot of this stuff in Europe against like some of the bigger clubs. I mean, there's violence everywhere in games, soccer games especially, in the stands. I mean, there's
Oh
people
yeah.
I mean that die hard for their teams, and it happens in Europe. But the U.S. and North America as a whole, and even Central America, South America, are known for the violence in the stands. Like it is known that you better be careful where you're sitting because someone's throwing slugs at some point.
No,
Like that is known. But I do think an enhancement in security. I mean, they're gonna have 2 years to get it right.
mm-hmm.
2 years to get it right, and if they don't, I mean, it's gonna be a disaster.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if there's something like that happens during the World Cup, I mean, it's a disaster. I mean, you have people dying every day, and outside of Mexico games, it's outside of Mexico City. I mean, a guy just died after Chivas games against Cholos outside of Guadalajara. I mean, if that happens, I mean, like, what are we doing, And
Yeah.
I think that's gonna have to be something that they're gonna have to figure out like pretty quick.
Yeah, especially like you said, to spend thousands of dollars. The cheapest price to get into the game was $2,000. That's one ticket. So you're talking about $5,000 for 2 tickets. And then there's no security. They were saying people were going to their seats and people were in their seats. I did see one thing where at one point they were going row by row and kicking out people, but like, how long would that take? The whole game?
Oh,
that stadium's humongous.
I mean, a stadium like that. Imagine that happens at the Azteca, where you're holding a crazy amount of people. I mean, you can't do that.
Yeah,
you're not gonna be able to. So I think there's gonna have to be some sort of really a review of what happened, and they're gonna have to correct it. Now, another thing too is a lot of players throughout the whole tournament were complaining about the fields and the conditions of the fields. Like, how are you not gonna be prepared for a tournament of this magnitude?
Yeah. Dude, we can't even get the fields right for our own sports, for football, right? Like the fields have just been a state of controversy for a while now, right? The KC Super Bowl where it was all muddy, against Philly. Philly was saying they would win who knows? You do just want the field right where that's not a distraction, where it's not an issue. And we can't even get it right for these football games. And then you come to these, soccer games, and yeah, it's the same shitty thing. And then the players know about it. The New Jersey one, right, is the one that's like that's known for it, just to be shitty fields. And I just don't get I don't know how they're gonna fix that, or if they're gonna fix that. But these fields,
I mean, there has to be some sort of process. Like, if you
something.
want to host us as a stadium, if you want to host the World Cup, by next year, you have to have these fields inspected. They're like, there is no reason.
There has to be some kind of standard.
Some standard. Look at the fields in Europe. Tottenham, for example. Look at what kind of field that is. I mean, it literally there's like layers to it where they grow it under the ground, like they keep the grass fresh. They have greenhouses under there. And they bring it up like levers and they bring up the field. It's crazy. It's crazy technology. And you would think US is sophisticated, but we're so cheap with our money. We will put it in different things that don't matter. I mean, it's like, and you see all the injuries happening in the NFL. I mean, a lot of things. Look at Messi got hurt last night, and you could say that was because of the field because it was
Oh
a
yeah.
contactless injury.
Mhm.
You know,
Just running. He was just running.
so I mean, there's a lot of, and that's the biggest star in the world when it comes to soccer, and that's happening to him. I mean, it's
That's
a
bad.
spotlight. It looks bad right now. It looks bad. So
Yeah, and
they're gonna.
especially these stadiums, right, that are hosting nothing but grass events, right? That stadium, Hard Rock Stadium, you got the Miami Dolphins playing there. You got University of Miami playing there. You got all these soccer events playing there. Like, how can you not have the field right? It's just mind-boggling. But like you said, man, everything's going up, prices going up, and everything's just getting shittier. I just don't understand it. But
It's
that's
like
the state.
reverse. It's
That's the state of
reverse,
our
man.
country right now. It's a little scary for sure.
I mean, we got presidents getting shot. I mean, it's crazy.
It's a shit show. It's a shit
It's a
show right
shit.
now.
The country's in a shit show right now. I think the economy's a shit show. I think everything. But we're not gonna get into politics. We're not getting into the economy. But I do want to talk about one thing that's controversial, and I want to talk about why do the refs favor Argentina so much?
I think it's because they sell so many jerseys. I have no idea. It's the same thing, just like Jose always says about, like, why would they favor Wade? Like, why would they give Wade a title? And man, you look in the crowd and all those jerseys and like people that are just like nonchalant fans, they get jersey. I don't know. I don't know why Argentina, because I know what are you talking about, the schedule for Argentina, because they definitely did have the easy bracket.
I'm not only talking about the schedule, and that has a lot to do with the CONMEBOL, the host of the tournament, the people that create the tournament, CONMEBOL. I mean, it seems like even the refs almost side with Messi. And I'm not saying that Messi deserves. It's like in the NBA, right? Like LeBron's gonna get certain calls that other players don't get, right? The big time players, Jokic, all these players, they're gonna get certain calls that other people don't get, right? Because there is almost a, I don't care what people say, the refs, it's psychological sometimes. It very is much psychological, right? It's a psychological position to be in where you really have to be very hard mentally, very strong mentally. So when it comes to Messi, I mean, rewind back to the Qatar World Cup. How many penalties were given to Argentina en route to the final? 5 penalties. Four of them, I don't even think were penalties. One in different each game.
Yeah.
I mean, Messi had 5 goals off penalties. So,
yeah.
There's certain questions I have. Last night, McAllister fouled Colombia's number 9 in the box. Ball came, he got to him before he even touched the ball inside the box, cleated him. They do a review on the VAR, and the VAR is a whole nother thing, and they don't mark the penalty, which I thought was an obvious penalty, and they say no penalty. And it's like how many more of these have to happen?
Nah, I can understand your frustration. I've been on both sides of that. It was weird because watching all these games leading up to this final, they were calling everything, right? Like in the quarterfinals and the semifinals, it seemed like every time someone went down and started rolling around, they would spot the ball. From the beginning of yesterday's game, they weren't calling shit on both sides, I thought, for a while. Like the stuff that they were just calling throughout the tournament, they were just like letting go. It was a pretty rough game, right?
Physical game.
It was a physical, and they weren't calling stuff, and like that one was a bad call. I thought that handball against Colombia, I mean, he didn't reach for it, but it was away from his side, I thought that handball was a bad call, but I thought it went. I thought the final wasn't ref too bad, considering Qatar. I can see all those free kicks. I mean, Messi did score some goals without the free kicks, right? But he did have a lot of them for the free
penalties.
Kicks. So
a lot of penalty kicks.
Yeah, it's hard to argue Qatar or whatever.
A penalty kick against Poland, a penalty against Croatia, a penalty against a penalty against Mexico. I mean, every single time it's like he gets, and Messi. I said when he won the World Cup, I said give him his flowers. He did it regardless of how he did it. You win a World Cup, to me, you're in an upper echelon of it's the greatest tournament in the world. You won it. You won it for your country under a lot of controversy, but you still won it. But they favor him. And I think it's a kind of a stain on his legacy. Also, in super clutch moments where his country or his team needs a win, Messi disappears. You can't find Messi. When they need Messi disappears. I mean, you saw it against France when when Mbappe came back in the final and scored back-to-back goals to tie it up and send it to overtime. Everyone was looking for Messi. Where is Messi?
Well, I mean, he
He's
did score.
roaming around.
He did score to make it 3-2
Okay, but then
in the overtime. Yeah, and then he missed the one at the buzzer.
okay, yeah,
He did make he did. I thought he shut everybody up with scoring that one goal and
right.
like to make it 3-2. So he should have sealed it, but then Mbappe made it 3-3. He leveled it off, and then it went to pins.
Messi couldn't win nothing in club without Xavi and Iniesta. Couldn't win a Champions League again. He won it with Neymar and Suarez. He needed a lot of help. He needed the big three. He needed the big three to win. You know, I'm just saying this. I'm just making a case that, and I'm not even going to bring up Ronaldo in this conversation because I'm just saying that there's a lot of we pick our villains and we pick our heroes in sports. Okay, and I think like Jeff, you don't like Kobe, right?
Yeah.
People made him a hero. I think it's the same way with Messi. We make him a hero, but I'm not talking about his talent with the ball at his feet. I'm talking about when they need him most. In the moments that I feel like he needs to show up, he hasn't showed up in his career. And I think he's been given a lot of credit. Now, away from the competitions with the ball at his feet, an incredible player. I mean, best I've ever seen with the soccer ball at his feet, with dribbling-wise. In other things, I don't think he's that good, but dribbling and mental, greatest ever. Ronaldo, I think heading the ball, scoring, I think he's the best scorer of all time. There's other things. Yeah. So
well,
that's my only thing.
Yeah, but we can talk about it. So, like, I think you can I can see your point of view, and I think we can finally level off here. So I ain't gonna lie. My soccer fandom, I watch more of the like Argentina. I didn't watch a lot of clubs when Barcelona and Real Madrid were going at it with Ronaldo. Like, I saw a couple of those matches, but like, man, I forgot what even channel they used to be on. Right, like back in the day, like in the 2000s, you would have to go find that shit, right? And it just wasn't accessible to me, and I just didn't know enough about it. But of course, I would watch the World Cups, the Copas. I would, the national teams. I would watch that. So you saw the clubs, right? And you remember moments that a lot of people don't remember, right? And that's the same thing with me and Kobe, right? Like I watched those games, right? I watched the semis, Western Conference Finals, and a lot of time people just like even last night. Everybody was watching last night. Was everybody watching the group stage? Was everybody watching the semis and all that? Hell no, they weren't watching that,
Yeah.
So like someone like you who watched the club stage of Messi, of Ronaldo, you probably have a way different perspective than to see all that, and you probably have good examples of that. That's kind of my beef with Kobe. I remember some stuff that a lot of people, like you said, like all they do is remember the championships. They don't remember all those little details. You know what I mean? So
and for the viewers that don't know, y'all should go look back at some of our episodes of Jeff controversy with Kobe. I'm a huge Kobe fan. Jeff, on the other hand, y'all didn't go watch that. Yeah, there's a sorted episode. I can't remember the title. Jose knows for sure. Y'all go look for that episode. That shit's crazy. Yeah. I mean, that's how we call him Jeff Bayless. That's where it came from.
And I broke it down. I broke down those moments during the 2000s that I remember. The Sacramento series, some stuff that people just forget about because it wasn't the finals, right? It was just the playoff. But what I'm saying is, I all I can speak for is the national team. I saw Messi struggle, right? He wanted to retire. I was watching the game at Twin Peaks when he lost to Chile in the final. He lost to Brazil. They couldn't get it done on the national stage. It seemed like he didn't have the team around him.
Couldn't get over the hump.
Yeah, he didn't have the team around him. He couldn't do it by himself. I watched when he lost to was it Germany when he lost in the World Cup final. And man, he could have iced the game in regular time. I remember it was him and the goalie, and he shot it right. And it, like if he would have scored there, no extra time, Argentina wins back then. I think it was the 14
for
final,
sure,
or whatever final was 16.
Episode 140, Jeff Bayless, undisputed. Go look for that episode. And real quick, Jeff, we got a couple of questions because there's a couple of them. So, okay, so we're gonna go ahead. Who do you think Team USA should target as their next head coach? That's a good question. Yeah. That's a great question. There's a couple of guys. They're talking about the LAFC head coach. At one point, they were talking about Jurgen Klopp, the head coach of Liverpool.
He turned it down, right?
He turned it down. And you know what? Like, let me tell you, and this might be controversial. but the United States is not known for being a global powerhouse in soccer, and that is the absolute truth. So for you to think that there's going to be a global powerhouse coach on one of the top clubs in the world that had a lot of success with someone like Liverpool is going to come coach a team like USA, we're fucking nuts. Now, Berhalter, they fired him. He had a lot of success with the United States. I didn't really like his coaching style, but he took the USA farther than many coaches haven't. So that's how I feel about that.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, I don't know enough about coaches for the USA. I was happy we got rid of this coach. I thought, with the controversy he had with the parents during the
oh
World Cup,
yeah,
he should have been let go during the only thing I can say is he should have been let go after the World Cup. And in this way, the new coach could have already had enough time. He could have had this Copa to prepare for the World Cup coming up, and especially since it's on our home soil, to actually make a stand. I don't see USA winning it, but to be competitive, to make a long run. And now it's like it's the worst thing happened. We stuck with the guy. Now we're firing him 2 years away from the World Cup. There's not a lot of time. All these other teams are going to be in qualifiers. There's not going to be a lot of time, a lot of good friendlies to even practice up on. I don't know what we need a coach that can just come and make something happen. I don't know who the guy is because now we're in a shitty situation, in a real bad situation. Like, to me, it was already a point of no return just to stick with the guy. But he did so bad during this Copa, he had no other choice to fire the guy. So it's just a shit show, man. Fucking USA, man.
yep. No, I mean it was. I mean they've had a bunch of problems with that, and they say that this is the best squad they've had in a long time, right? I remember the Clint Dempseys, I remember the London Donovans, but this has been the best group of young players that the U.S. has had in history, I think. And if they don't correct who is at the helm to maybe take them to that extra step, then maybe you lose out on the opportunity of having a lot of talent. But you have a lot of players compared to Mexico, compared to other Central American countries and American countries, North American countries, that they have a lot of players playing in Europe. I mean, for the starters they had in this Copa America, I mean, each player is playing in Europe basically for the starters. I think there was two MLS players on that roster, on that 23-man roster. So you can see the development. I think they just need a coach to take them over the hump, and we'll see who that is. Uh,
Hey, I've always heard real quick. What about what's his name? He was the old coach for Real Madrid or Barcelona, the Marino.
yeah, yeah,
Is he
yeah.
available?
Tata Martino? Or
I,
are you talking
I,
about?
I thought his name was like Jose or Jorge Marino, or he was like a old school coach.
No, no, no.
I can't remember his
So
name.
Joe put another message. He said, "How do y'all feel about what happened to Hard Rock Stadium yesterday from the fans?" Yeah, we just talked about it earlier. I mean, it was a complete shit show. I mean, we talked about how that we have the 2026 World Cup here, and if we don't get our shit together, I mean, it's going to be a disaster. I mean, they're gonna owe a bunch of people money from what happened at Hard Rock. I mean, it was a disaster. I mean, complete utter shit show. So
I
yeah,
know
I
if I
mean,
went to that game and traveled to Miami and spent $2,000 for a ticket, I would be pissed. Like, I would be upside myself because no matter what, even if you got there on time, the earliest you got there, unless you were like first in line, you were just in that crowd and that herd for so long, or maybe there was a different entrance, But I would have been pretty fucking pissed, and there were a lot of pissed people that just went home. There were some that stuck it out and of course went to the game. And at that one point, right, they just let in everybody because they had to. And yeah, if you got to your seat and someone else was in your seat, I mean, how pissed would you be? I get mad when that happens at the movies. And
oh yeah, I mean that shit happens more often than you think.
yeah, imagine that at the Copa
When you
final.
pay
I
thousands
would
of
be so
dollars
mad.
for a ticket, I mean,
Yeah, I'd be pissed.
I think the lowest ticket for getting into that final was like $2,000 or $3,000. I mean, just imagine.
Insane.
Crazy. And Joe said, I grew to respect Kobe. I hated him because I was a Spurs fan. Yes, there was a certain level of hate for Kobe, right?
Yeah,
But the thing is with my boy Jeff hated him and didn't respect him. He completely utterly hated him.
and
I
it never
respect
went
I
away. That
respected
hate
Kobe.
never went
I'm a
away
Spurs
either.
fan, huge Spurs fan. Yes, the hate never went away. Jeff showers in the Kobe hate, and he loves it, and that's Jeff for you. Joe also said, I feel like Team USA is knocking on the door. They just need the right coach. You can see it in America, the growing love of soccer over the years.
Oh, yeah.
I think Joe's hitting on the money, right? I think the popularity of the sport has grown over the years, and I think it's at a point where a lot of more people are tuning in. And you've seen it with a couple, not only soccer, but you almost see it with hockey too now. You see it with some other sports where I think I think it's accessibility to watching games. I think the way it's being programmed, I mean, advertisement. But I think the US has a systemic problem in soccer. And it's in Europe, if you put your kid in a club team, you don't have to pay thousands of dollars for their kid to play soccer and grow up to play soccer and learn soccer. In the US, and I'm telling you from a person that experienced it, where I was developed as a young kid playing soccer, where there was chances for me to go play in Mexico, there was chances for me to play here in the States as a young kid with some pretty big teams. That there's a systemic problem where we just didn't have the money to support me to keep me going and to play. And we lose out on a lot of talent like that. And I think there's a growing problem in the United States that I think when it comes to U.S. development soccer as a whole, the U.S. soccer program, that they need to fix those core issues so we can continue to spur that talent up the ranks.
Yeah, because it's that club soccer, right? And you gotta pay a lot of money every damn quarter. And that was the whole controversy in the World Cup, right? Some dad was mad his kid wasn't playing on the highest level because they were just so used. Hey, if I pay enough money, my kid will get playing time. And it reminds me of that, like in football. I think it's like you said, it's a systemic American problem, even in like in private schools, and I'm pretty sure a little bit happens in public schools. But I went to private school, so that's all I can speak for. You do have those rich parents like, hey, I'm going to pull out my kid if y'all put the sophomore over him, even though the sophomore is balling out, right? Better quarterback and everything. Better for the team, but y'all better put my son. And it happens. It happens all the time. And to having all the way up to that level, I heard in colleges, like, hey, get my kid in and we'll donate so much money to the school. So it happens and it just keeps going up to the top. And you're right. That's why I think that coach said, like, the way that the U.S. is ran, I don't want to be any part of it. And it's, we got to fundamentally change the way we do things around here. And man, like right now, there's no chance of that happening.
You hear it all the time from like pro players that come play in the MLS and they come from Europe and they're trying to put their kids to play soccer at a young age. And it's like, they're baffled, right? Because they're not used to having to pay every week hundreds of dollars for their kid to play a sport just to have fun. And it's like, that's the other root of the problem, right? It's like, it's not like in these South American countries or even in Europe where, some kids, they pull them from like the worst parts of the country and, like the favelas in Brazil. And you see, I mean, prime example of this, Colombia's Luis Diaz. He comes from, I mean, I think he was 18 and he was still playing third division soccer in Colombia. And, they pulled him up because they saw the talent, but he wasn't paying shitload of money to play soccer. He was just playing it, he was getting paid to play.
Yeah, it's like over there, they invest in the player, right? Like if they see someone with talent, they're going to invest in that player. I heard Barcelona invested in Messi when he was like a damn child, right? Yeah. So over there, they invest in the kid, and over here, it's just ass backwards. So, it's just crazy.
Yeah, it's a shit show. U.S. soccer, it's growing. It's learning from its mistakes, but let's hope they figure that stuff out. So Puro Pinche Sports. Join us tomorrow night, episode 193, wide receiver rankings. That's going to be interesting. Jeff, what do you think about your list, man? I mean, we're talking about soccer, but what do you kind of think of it?
Yeah, so
you don't have to give away anything. Don't give away anything.
Yeah. I wasn't too controversial with the wide receivers. I kind of just try to do it straight up. But, with our group, no matter what, you try to do something fair. They're going to nitpick it and find something crazy about it. And sometimes, you forget something or whatever. But I think I was a fair. On my running backs and wide receivers, I was fair. My quarterbacks, I was trying to do something. But anyways, just so y'all know, the USA games, I watch every Argentina game, and when the USA's playing, I'm watching that too. I've been watching most Mexico games, but it's been tough to watch Mexico lately. But I do support them. It's just hard to support when your team, you could just tell it's just not ran right. It's tough.
It's tough, yeah. And I think they're gonna figure those things in. Joe said they invest in kids in basketball and football. It's true. The U.S. does prioritize certain sports. Definitely prioritize certain sports, but I think that Alex said USA trash. USA, we talked about that, Alex. We did say they're trash. We think trash, but let me tell you, Mexico's trash too right now. Mexico's trash right now too. So we're not in a good spot right now. I can't root for Mexico or the USA because we suck. Mexico has an issue too, and it's all about money. We're
And
money driven.
politics.
Politics, money, and in Europe you're having these like they're just ran a lot better. Ran a lot better. I wish we ran soccer how we run football in the United States, because we'd be doing a lot better.
Oh yeah,
I mean, we have crazy athletes, dude.
yeah,
I mean, look at us at the Olympics. I mean, we have athletes, dude, over here. We have athletes that are bred here.
yeah.
We're good at a lot of things,
No,
and we
yeah,
could be good. We could be good at more, but money gets in the way.
yeah. Like I remember watching like you said, Dempsey and Donovan, and their shots. Most of them were like from passing and setting up shit. Now we have strikers, right? Ballistic. We have people that can actually strike. And I just something I noticed. We have more guys that are more developed now. So we are there, right? Like we did. Like that's
We
why
have a lot of players playing in Europe.
it's calling our golden generation, even though we haven't done anything. But it's just we're the best we've ever been, right? As far as talent. But now, like that comment said, we need a coach. We need something to put it together. So because the national league. It's a different strategy. It's not like your club side. It's a whole different thing. You just need someone with experience that can come and just get the job done.
For sure.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
Jose said Team USA is like Jerry Jones, Dallas Cowboys. Money over glory.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, you think about the Dallas Cowboys, right? All the times that I think every single year that I've been born, this is our year. This is our year. But Jerry Jones is always in the way. Always in the way, chooses money, chooses those things, chooses the popularity over the glory. And that's why, frankly, I don't think I'll see the Dallas Cowboys win a Super Bowl in my lifetime. I don't think it's going to happen because there's a systemic issue there. And I think Jerry Jones might outlive me. So that's why I'm saying that.
Let's see what this comment says. Alex.
Mexico is becoming like the U.S. as far as now. The rich kids are getting the most opportunities. I agree, Alex.
And you can see it.
I agree. You can see it. A lot of privilege. And another systemic issue in Mexico, they're not letting their players go play in Europe. We're even worse than the United States. Or at least the U.S. is letting their players play in Europe. We're not letting our players play in Europe because our clubs in Mexico are paying big money to have these players stay. Not only that, we're tagging the prices on the players super high so they can make more money. When the Europe is like, I'm not going to pay that much for a player. Okay, then don't buy him. He can make a lot of money here and we can make money off of him. That's the problem in Mexico.
So is that why they do they hold grudges on you if you go play in Europe? Like, is that what happened to Chicharito?
That what?
Is that what happened to what was his name, Chicharito? Like if you go play in Europe, do they hold it against you and like not let you play for the national team, or like they might bump somebody else up or something?
No, it doesn't. That doesn't necessarily happen. I just think that certain players get lucky, to get out of the Mexican league. But it's becoming more of an issue. It used to not be as much of an issue, but not. I mean, there's nobody in Europe playing right now that plays for Mexico no more. But because it's all money, it's all greed. Okay, Joe said, okay, the Cubs. Oh yeah, huge Cowboys fan here. The Cubs won a World Series, so anything can happen. Yes, Joe. But as long as Jerry Jones is alive, I'm sorry, but those chances look very slim. Easy, Joe. Leave my Cubs out of this. Yes, Alex, Chicago born, huge Cubs fan. The Cubs looks like they're doing okay, not too bad. I know the Rangers are doing kind of bad in our division. The Astros just bumped over us, so we'll talk about baseball one day. But I don't keep up with that as much as I should. Yeah.
So what did you think? Did you get to watch Spain? The Spain?
Oh yeah, talk about the Euros. Yeah. So
the Euros a little bit.
So just a little bit, real quick.
Spain, England.
For the Spain and England, I mean, England just loses every final they're in.
Yeah, that's just what they do. When you text us that it's anybody's game, England did look strong. They were going back and forth, but damn, they couldn't get it done, man. They could not get it done.
Yankees fan in the chat. Hey, the Yankees are doing good this year. Hey, Aaron Judge leading on home runs for the league. I think he's leading in the AL, right? But I think he's leading. I think the MLB, the league as a whole. But yeah, England, dude, they've lost a lot of finals. I feel like Harry Kane has lost every final he's been in. I mean, that guy's cursed. I think if they take him off the team, England might have a chance. But Spain, I feel like Spain was more of a team. They might not have as much talent as England, but Spain was an actual team built, and that coach is really good. Yeah. That coach they have is really good. So I'm happy for Spain. I feel like they deserved it. They play better than England. But I think Southgate, the coach of England, needs to go. He needs to go. He loses too many finals. He's not getting over the hump, and I think you need someone else there to get over the hump.
Yeah, that was tough, man. When they tied it up, I was like, oh shit, and then Spain put it away. So yeah, so I'm kind of excited to see Spain Argentina next year. I'm thinking about crossing the pond to go see the game. They haven't said where it's at yet because they barely brought that back last year. I didn't know that, because I
Hey,
had
I'm
missed
going to
that.
Europe too next year.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm going to Europe next year.
Let's go, dude. Let's go. I think they canceled. Say it again. The final. How do you say it?
Finalísima.
They canceled it in '93. They used to do it. The winner of the Copa and the winner of the Euros play each other. Well, they brought it back last time, and Argentina beat Italy. And then so this year, so it'll be next year. Next summer, it's Spain and Argentina. And,
if you were to tell me right now, you put this Spain squad against this Argentinian squad, I don't think the Argentina was the best team in this tournament, honestly, in Copa America.
Yeah.
I think Colombia was the best team in the tournament. I frankly don't think Argentina deserved to win the way they played in the tournament.
Yeah.
But experience, things like that, get you over that.
Yeah, I agree. I know what you mean. There was a lot of games where Argentina didn't look good. The shootout game against Ecuador, the Argentina did not look good. Some of the group stages games, besides, we went on 2-0 against Canada both times.
I mean, that game against Chile.
Yeah, Chile can play, but yeah, like they didn't look like the world champs, right? You could tell it was like a stage down. They weren't playing at the level, but give it to them when it mattered most. They did look like it, on Sunday night. It was weird because they didn't look like that. They got some kind of confidence, some kind of mojo. They played fucking badass on last night. But yeah, I know what you mean. Messi, that's what I'm saying. Messi's 2 steps slow, can only set up people, take 1 or 2 shots a game. You see taking the corners, now without Di Maria. And, that was the thing. I really wanted Di Maria to score, right? Because he scored in the World Cup final. He always made a goal in the big games. And, he almost got an assist. And,
the Scottie Pippen of Michael Jordan.
Yeah, right, he almost got an assist. And then, he took a couple shots, but he didn't get to go. But he played good, though. He played a fucking solid game. And without him now, that I would say, of course, Spain would definitely be favored, right, next year. But it'll be a fucking battle. It's going to be a fun game. I would think it would be badass to go to that game.
Badass. And, of course, ladies and gentlemen, so you have your Copa America Argentinian winners. You have the Spain Euro winners, and they will be going up against each other in the Finalissima next year. Like Jeff said, they're bringing it back. They did it last time for the 2022 World Cup. Now they're going to bring it in for the 20 – actually, they did it for the Euros, right, in the Copa America.
They did it for it was either the 2021, the Copa.
2020 Copa America, 2020 Euros. They're doing it again, and they're going to be going head-to-head. So it should be great, man. It should be a good match.
And they got that young kid, right? The 16-year-old. He scored in the semifinals.
Yamil.
Man, that dude scored a fucking badass. And yeah, they were showing what he's accomplished at the age of 16 compared to what Kane's 30, and he hasn't got nothing done. Poor guy. But that guy, he scored a fucking goal, right? He got him there. He didn't do much in the final. He played good, but he didn't score. But yeah, to see him against Argentina would be so badass.
Joe said, CD Lamb, top 7 wide receiver. Better see it tomorrow.
I think he will be up there.
He'll be up there. I
got shit last year because I'm a Cowboys fan, even though I have one of those what is it called, like tough relationship with the Cowboys. I still had CD Lamb last year top 10, and people gave me shit about it. And then he bought out, and now I think he'll be in everybody's top 10 for sure.
As long as James and Trey don't come out with some bullshit like they did last fucking rankings, we should be in good shape. Because Trey, I love you, Trey, but Jesus Christ.
I mean, I was fucking around, right? But like, I couldn't believe to see Tua top 10. That, man, you really got to have some faith. Because
I mean,
Tua, like he's been good, but he hasn't been great. To put him in top 10 to me, then top 5 is just I couldn't believe what
crazy.
I saw that. Tua, like, holy shit.
Lamb was technically, by our standards, ended up top 2 last year.
Exactly. He'll be in everybody's top 5, I think. Oh, by our standards, you said that? Top 2?
Yeah.
Damn, I didn't think so.
Next time, y'all need to be in the trivia too, Joe.
Yes.
Yeah. So I make it like once or twice a month, more like if you ask Jose, like one time a year. But usually, me and Jose are the OGs. We started the pod, so because of work, I get caught up and stuff. But I'm trying to be on a lot more now. So y'all see more of me soon.
Yeah, and in my schedule, it's been changing lately. So that's why I was on for consistently for almost like a year. And in my schedule, I got a hybrid schedule, and it's just been, I don't know why I'm by myself right now. But my schedule's been a little off and on. I've only made it to 2 pods probably in the last 4 months maybe. And every time I'm going to make one, it gets canceled and moved to like Wednesday or Thursday. And then I can't make it, you know? So like, it's just, there's been some bad luck in there. But I definitely tried to make it, you know? And even now, you know, I'm working from home for this whole month because of a situation at work. And it's, you know, I have a 2-year-old, so it's hard to get on at home. That little girl won't let me do anything. She's way worse than James' kid and Trey's kid that lets them do the pod every Tuesday. I don't know how they do it.
Yes. So Jose says Lamb ended first in receptions, second in yards, and third in touchdowns. I mean, CD had an amazing year last season, except he plays for an organization that continues to fail him and fail others. So we'll talk about. I wish I could be there tomorrow.
Well, it's not to his doing, but his quarterback. That was a lot of trash time stats, you know. But that's not his fault. I blame his quarterback, you know. So
yes. So join us tomorrow night for episode 193, wide receivers rankings, 2024. Also, the People's Debate on Wednesday. Tune in, AFC North week. So yeah, AFC North. I think they had asked for some of our guys to be on there. I'm not sure if they are, but that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, tune into the People's Debate on Wednesday. I think they started at the same time, 7:30 something. I think 7:30 or 7. You can correct me on that. And tune in on their pod as well. But hey, Jeff, it was awesome chatting it up with you, talking all things soccer. Hopefully, we could do more of these every time we have a big tournament back. Man, get a little bit more enthused. Maybe we could do some stuff for the Champions League. Maybe we'll get you in on some club games, man.
Yeah, I got to start. Dude, I haven't watched a club game in years, dude. But yeah, well, get me in. Tell like text me when the game's on. I'll watch that thing. But yeah, for sure. Much respect. This was fun. I enjoyed it. We got to do it more.
Yeah. So all to your fake Argentinian fans, all to the refs that helped Argentina win. This is us from Puro Pinche Sports. Oh wait, hold up. The People's Debate is at 7. It's at 7. So tune in Wednesday.
Okay.
Wednesday. Anyways, we are Puro Pinche Sports. I am your temporary host, Marco, and this is Jeff. Thank you for being with us today, and we'll catch y'all later talking all things football.
See y'all guys. Good shit. Later.